basic review here. I have my XY axes, right? This is like classic graph. Which quadrant is which? Where's quadrant 1? Top right. Top right is when they're both positive, we got quadrant 1, and then we just go counterclockwise from there. So this is 2, 3, 4, right? So if you get lost on a quiz, you're like, oh no, I forgot. Just know that your basic one that you learned in like 5th grade, the positive one is quadrant 1, and then you just go clockwise from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job, guys. Great job. Plot and label. Okay, plot and label. So we got. This is basic stuff. This is like algebra 1. Plot and label. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1 comma -1 is going to be where? Yep, so right, that first number is my x, so I go to the right 1, and then that second number is my y, I go down 1. 1, -1. I think the biggest way to mess this up would be if we get flip-flop. Yep.
Instead of labeling it like that, is it alright if I put like A, B, and C by?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's your notes, so like whatever works for you. So the first number is the x-axis, the second number is the y. My 5th grade teacher, I think, Mrs. Osborne, she told me that like, oh, you know that the first one is the horizontal x-axis, because when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you're doing is laying down, and then the second thing is you get up. The second thing is the vertical. I don't know, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. Okay, B. So here's A. B is 2, 0, right? So that first coordinate is my x. I'm going to go to the right 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to go up 0. So I'm just right there on the axis. All right. Any qualms with that? Qualms? Confusion? All right. Third one, C. -3, -2. So I'm going to go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And then, not yet. And then down 2. 1, 2. So right here. -3, -2. All right, that's my C. Okay, so we all good there? That should be like algebra 1 review. Okay, good. All right, I'll come over here. Okay, so evaluate. We got 3 is in 2 parts, A and B. I want to evaluate 6 plus -6. Okay, so right, you remember what these guys are? Absolute value, right? So we have 6 plus, and then what's the absolute value of -6? 6. Yep. So we'll have 6 plus 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Don't need to ask Carrie for that one. Just know that on our own. All right, so now we have the absolute value, and everything's in the absolute value bars this time. -3 plus 4, right? So what do I do first? Yep, so I'm going to crunch all the numbers that are inside the absolute value, right? You kind of treat these almost like parentheses. You treat them like it's another form of grouping, right? So -3 plus 4 is 1, so now I have the absolute value of 1. And the absolute value of 1 is this one, yeah, this one, yeah. There we go. Any hesitation on that? Any confusion? Anywhere we're tripped up? Okay, now let's do, there's C and D. C, 5 minus the absolute value -5. So I have 5 minus, and then I'm going to do my absolute value of -5, which is 5, and then 5 minus 5 is 0. The absolute value of pi minus 4. All right, absolute value of pi minus 4. Any ideas? Yeah, so pi is what, roughly? 3.14, right? So a number that's a little more than 4, or a little more than 3, it's less than 4, minus 4. Is that going to be a negative number or a positive number? Negative, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write an equal sign, okay? So if we had a positive number, right? So like, let's say -a, right? If we wrote the absolute value of -a, it would just give us negative A, right? We just multiplied it by -1. Same thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to rewrite this as negative pi minus 4. Okay, does that make any sense? So this is negative. So to get its absolute value, we have to multiply by negative 1 to get us a positive back. Is that confusing? Okay, negative pi minus 4 is equal to 4 minus pi. When we multiply a binomial, this little two-term expression by negative 1, we just flip them. Okay. Is that confusing to anyone? It's not confusing. That's going to be our final answer, right? So I figured out, hey, pi is like, that's less than 4. So if I take something that's less than 4 and subtract 4 from it, that's going to be a negative answer. So I know that to get the absolute value of this, I'm going to have to multiply everything in here by negative 1. That's going to give me a positive. So 4 minus pi is positive. Get Silas?
What if it was like
Pi minus 2. So then if it was pi minus 2, right? I know pi is greater than 3, right? So 3, this is like this is going to be a positive expression. You see why pi minus 2 is positive? Yeah, so then it'll just be pi minus 2. I don't need to do any more equals, right? Because if we have a positive number and we take its absolute value, it just stays what it is.
So you're just treating pi like it's a variable?
No, it's not. It's not a variable because I know it's about 3.14. Yeah, it doesn't. Its value always stays the same. I can't like. So yeah, it's just a weird symbol. And technically, like if you like saw if like aliens abducted you and you were like, hey, like my favorite number is 2. That would kind of look like pi to them almost. They'd be like, what? But you know the value is always 2. It's just kind of a weird symbol. Okay, let me check this schedule. Okay, guys, come back at 12:25. Yeah.
I forgot to circle my answers on the homework.
Don't worry. Just do it next time,
Okay,
okay?
but I had to.
We go easy the first time.
I went to go highlight my notes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah. Come back at 12:25. Second half of Precal Academic Period A lecture, August 15th,
Oh, yeah.
Monday.
I have to get it.
All right. So we're going to go to 110. We're going to go to 110.
He wasn't so creepy. He's like disgusting. Ew.
We're not gonna finish.
All right, we'll see how far we get. So if we actually have a good amount of time, we might finish. All right, everyone's back. Thank you. I apologize for the confusion. I apologize when you guys are awesome. You all came back. You guys are doing great so far. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Where do you want me to put the syllabus?
Stable that. That comes out of whatever. All right, AirPods out, please. Phones away. Yeah.
How was it, Mr. Rose?
I was great. I had homemade chicken tenders that night. All right. Find AB. So we're gonna find the length of AB. So there's point A, 3, 2, and point B, 4, and 4, comma, negative 1. Okay, so we got these 2 points. I don't like this marker. We're gonna find the distance between those 2. That's what AB means. So there's a line segment, right? So we can do this graphically. So we can either we can plot both of them. All right, we can do A, 3. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. 3, 2. And B is 4, negative 1. All right, I can do that. All right, so I have this segment. So 3 going down to negative 1 is a 4. This side is a length of 4. Okay, this side 3 to 4 is a length of 1. We can use the Pythagorean theorem. 1 squared plus 4 squared equals 17, and then we have to take the square root of that. So AB would be the square root of 17. And that's one way we can do it. If you're like crunched for time on a quiz, you can use the distance formula. Anyone remember what that is?
Is it where you like add them all together and divide?
That would be midpoint. Distance formula, so the distance between 2 points would be, so if I have a point x1, y1, and another point x2, y2, the distance between them is the square root. So distance equals square root of x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared. So that's just rewriting the Pythagorean theorem we just did. So if I use the distance formula, it would be, so what's my first x? 3. My second x is 4, so 3 minus 4 squared plus, and then my first y is 2. Second y is -1. 2 minus -1, I'm going to write that as plus 1. Okay, we're all good with that. Minus -1 is same as plus positive 1. Okay, and then that's a quicker way. It's square root of 3 minus 4 is -1, and -1 squared is 1. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so that gives me square root of 10. Okay, what did I do wrong? I did one of these wrong. I got 2 different answers.
Wait, what?
I got root 10 and root 17. That's not okay.
How did you do that, dude?
Wait, why did you do y1 minus y2 and then 2 plus 1?
Thought you were gonna square something.
Yeah, wait.
I was doing 2 minus -1. So I did 3 minus 4. Oh, you know what I did? No, that's okay. Did I do this part wrong? Oh, I think I did this part wrong. So 2 is 3 away from -1, and this is length of 3. That's what I did wrong. So this should be a 3. There we go.
Do you just count that by like the
Wait.
I just counted. I literally was just like, hey, look, this has a y coordinate of 2. This has a y coordinate of -1, so the length of this side is going to be 3. 3 down over 1. Okay. Sorry for the confusion.
Oh, it's up 2, okay.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion. All right, we good? We good on that? All right. Let's just use the distance formula from now on, okay? Because it's kind of simpler to me. Okay, so we have a point A, -1, -2, and a point B, 0, 7. Okay. The distance formula, right? Okay, I'm going to do, right, the difference between my x's, so -1 and 0, squared. This difference between my y's, -2 and 7, squared. Okay. So that gives me -1 minus 0 is -1, -1 squared is 1. And -2 minus 7 is -9, right? Plus -7, -9. -9 squared is 81. So I get square root of 82. Okay, I want to simplify my radical. That's 41 times 2. Okay, so there are no perfect square factors in 82, so I can't simplify this square root. You guys remember simplifying your square roots from like geometry? So I can't simplify this because it's 41 times 2, and those are both prime. So that's it right here.
Wait, is that a negative something?
Which where?
It's minus 2, or the -2 plus -7.
Yeah, so it was -2 minus 7 originally, right? So it'd be negative. So if you can do that in your head, that's fine. But for me, -2 minus 7 is the same as plus -7.
Oh.
And then it's just -2 plus -7. It's a little middle school trick. Okay. Are we all good with that? Is anyone confused? It's okay to be confused.
It's not okay.
No dumb question.
Every single time someone says that, someone asks a question.
All right. 5. Oh. New topic. And I think we're gonna find the midpoint of AB this time. Okay, midpoint. So I think Jay, I think you just referred to this. Yeah. Yeah. So here's how we do midpoints. So midpoint x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That's my midpoint, okay? So for 5, we have what's the midpoint between point A, which is 3, 7, and point B, which is -2, 11. Okay? So I'm going to plug it in. Midpoint MP equals, add my x's, so 3 plus -2. 3 plus -2. That's just going to be 3 minus 2. Over 2. And 7 plus 11. Over 2. Right? So it'll be 3 minus 2 over 1, that's 1. So my x coordinate is 1/2. Right, does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then my y coordinate, 7 plus 11 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So there's my midpoint. Alright, are we good? Are we confused? Anyone panicking? Scared? Okay. Okay. B, we have point A is -6, -1. Point B is 8, 5. Okay? So it's our midpoint formula, okay? So midpoint MP equals, add my x's, 8, -6 plus 8. That's all going to be over 2. Then for the y coordinate of my midpoint, add my y's. -1 plus 5. That's all going to be over 2. Okay. 6 plus 8 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. -1 plus 5 is 4. 4 over 2 is 2. Okay. You good on that? Anyone confused? All right, so that's number 5. All right, topic 6. Topic 6, find the area and perimeter of the figure formed by A, B, and C. A little more involved, Let me see. So Mrs. Ford did it. Okay, I see how she did it.
Mrs. Ford.
Okay, yes, the easiest way to do this is probably just to plot it. So so point A is -5, 3. Okay. B is 0, -1. And C is 4, 4. Okay. Now you can close the door. All right. So yeah, this is how I recommend doing it. So what's the formula for area of a triangle? 1/2 base times height. Okay, what's my base? It's here, this, and this end. It's a lot easier if I just plot these 3 points real quick because I can see which is the base. All right, so this is my base. This is A, so A to C. Looks like I got another angle here. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and find these lengths. So A to B is, this is 5, so AB distance formula, -5 minus 0 squared plus 3 minus -1 plus 1 squared. It's going to give me square root of 25 plus 16, square root of 41. So that's AB. CB is 4 minus 0 squared plus 4 minus -1 squared, that's just 4 plus 1 squared, that's equal to square root of 16 plus 25, which equals the square root of 41. Okay, and then AC equals square root of -5 minus 4 squared, right, plus 3 minus 4 squared, which equals -9 squared, which is 81, so square root of 81 plus 3 minus 4 is -1, -1 squared is 1, so square root of 82. Okay, so this is square root of 41, this is square root of 41, this is square root of 82. Right. I've got a right angle here. How are you guys supposed to tell if this is right angle? I'm trying to think. Using just Precal, using just my knowledge of algebra.
Should we do special triangles?
Is that?
Special triangles since we're both 41.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this to you guys. So,
Wait, is that not the answer?
no, so that we want to find the area of it. So if you look at these two lines here, you'll find that their slopes are opposite and reciprocal. So there's a right angle right here. So this is my base and this is my height. Okay. So the area equals 1/2 times the length of the base, which is square root of 41, times the height, which is square root of 41. So you get 41 over 2. Is that confusing people?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the best way. Right, because I did 1/2 base times height. Are we just having trouble understanding why this is the base, and which one's the base and which one's the height? So you see like why this is the base and this is the height that I chose? You can pick either one. You can do that. It's the easiest way to do it. The right angle here.
Here we go. How do you find the perimeter? Use that.
Perimeter is going to be add all the lengths to the sides. So it's going to be, so perimeter is going to be root 41
No, girl.
plus root 41 plus root 82. Okay. These I can combine together. 2 root 41. And then square root of 82 is equal to the square root of 2 times the square root of 41. Okay. I'm going to factor out a root 41. So it's going to be 2 plus root 2 square root of 42. Okay.
I'm working on this. Points off.
If you left it like the second line, I'd be okay with that too.
I know what it is.
Most simplified form. Okay, let's do part B now. So part B, can you, oh wait, it's right here. Part B is going to be A is negative 2, 1. B is negative 2, 6. C is 4, 6. D is 4, 1. Alright, so A, negative 2, 1. My point A. Point B is negative 2, 6. C is 4, 6. And D is 4, 1. 4, 1. So I got a nice little square here. Nice little rectangle, I should say. Okay, so if you plot these four, you can easily see these have the same y coordinate, so the distance between them is just negative 2, the difference between 4 and negative 2. So that's 6 down there. Okay, let's check the top. These have the same y coordinate, B and C, so the distance between them is the distance between negative 2 and 4. That's 6. The distance between C and D, they have the same x coordinate, so it's just the difference between 6 and 1, 5. And same for these. Did that confuse anyone? How I knew that? So the area is going to be 5 times 6, which is 30. Perimeter is going to be 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6. Okay, so 22. Is that confusing anyone? That one's easy.
Where's the area?
The area is if there's a units. So yeah, if I told you like units squared or something, square units. But if you wrote 30, so this didn't give you like units. So if it were like a word problem, I need it, but like this isn't a word problem. All right, so we want to prove that the diagonals of the figure formed by the points bisect each other. All right, so let's get her done.
I'm not kidding. That's serious.
All right, so let's plot these. All right, so we got A, which is negative 2, negative 3. You've got B, which is 0, 1. Okay. So you've got C, which is 6, 7. You've got D, which is 4. This is a weird looking shape. Probably should have done this on graph paper. That's my fault. These four. So if you plot it the correct way, you get this weird looking. You get this weird looking quadrilateral. Okay. If you plot it like on graph paper, you get that. You get this weird looking quadrilateral. And then it's actually not too bad. So the way, anyone have any ideas for how we prove that the diagonals bisect each other? So we're trying to prove that this line right here, this little dashed line, and this little dashed line, right? We're trying to prove that like this is the midpoint of both of them, basically. Because if this is the midpoint of both, and this is equal to that, that's equal to that. What's that? Not slope, length. So let's find the midpoint between B and D. So I had to draw it to see what my diagonals are. My diagonals are my segment AC and BD. That's why I plotted it. And then I set the font show that they have the same midpoint.
Yeah, oh my god. So smart.
So BD, so the midpoint of BD, that equals, okay, add the x's, divide by 2. Add the y's, divide by 2.
Wait. I lost it. Oh,
Yeah.
Why, so, when you got this, why are you using it?
Girl.
What's that?
So deep.
Yeah, so I need to show that so these 4 points form a quadrilateral, and I want to show that the diagonals bisect each other. So I need to figure out, okay, which segments are my diagonals? Is it BC? It's not BC, right? It's BD and AC. I had to see which ones are across from each other. That's why I plotted it real quick. Okay. So here's my BD midpoint and then my AC midpoint. Add the x's, divide by 2, so -2 plus 6. Divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2, -3 plus 7. Divide by 2. Okay, so my BCD midpoint is going to be 4 plus 0 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. 3 plus 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. And then -2 plus 6 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. -3 plus 7 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So they have the same midpoint, therefore they bisect each other. Okay? So the second part, doing the calculations, I don't think that's going to be as challenging for you guys. I'm guessing the part we're confused about is like, are you just confused like why the diagonals are BD and AC?
No, I'm just like, there's just a lot of steps. I'm just shooting myself.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest graph ever, so I'm not good at drawing geometric scales, geometric figures of scale. So I had to graph it though, because like these 4 points could be collinear, like it could be a line, in which case there's no diagonal. So like this is just for me for a visual. So I just want to be able to see the diagonals. So that's why I plotted it.
You can see them.
Are you ever gonna have the notes
Yeah, like the completed notes.
online? No, I mean just like,
Yeah, but on Schoology those notes are.
so we can do them on our iPad.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we turn them in online?
You don't need to turn your notes.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's move on to A, 8.
Do we like have 5 minutes? Or could we have 15 minutes? We have 5.
All right, 8. So write the equation of the circle. So, the center is at 0, 0, and the radius equals 3. Okay. Anyone remember the formula for like the equation of the circle? That's area of the circle. This is like the equation. So it's going to be I don't know how to write this. It's going to be x minus x minus what do I want to call this? X minus so let's call this x coordinate of the center. I'm going to call that x sub c. Are people okay with that? It's a good name. And then the y coordinate of the center I'm going to call y sub c. Are you people okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do x minus x sub c squared plus y minus y sub c squared equals the radius squared. Okay, so for this one it'd be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals r squared. R is 3, so 3 squared. Right, when I simplify that, I get x squared plus y squared equals 9. That's why I get that.
This one.
Okay, are we okay with that? Okay, so part B, the center, circle B, center is 5, -4. Radius is equal to 6, okay? So my equation will be, alright, what do you think the equation might be? Any ideas? X minus 5, okay, that's X minus 5, and then what do I need to put here? Square, then plus. Yeah, so y minus -4, y minus -4 is y plus 4, right? Minus a negative is plus a positive, so then if I squared, and equals what?
6 squared.
6 squared, yep, which is 36. Pretty good on that?
Yeah, that's our answer.
Looks good to me.
So if there's like x, we don't even go anywhere further.
What do you mean?
Like, so it's like x minus 5, the last one is x minus 0, so you can just cancel it.
Yeah, if there's an actual number, actually, just leave it like this.
Why is that one looking so
Square rooted
confusing and
is
that one
6.
normal?
Which one looks confusing?
That it's just like what? Oh, you just skipped out and ran the formula back.
Yeah, I skipped right the formula. Yeah. So then C, center is at 0, 4. Radius is equal to √5. Okay, so same deal. X minus 0, that whole thing, that whole parenthesis should be squared, plus y minus 4, yeah. So it's going to be y minus this y coordinate right here. Okay, so here it was a y minus -4, which is why we changed it to a plus.
So it's just the opposite.
So it's y minus 4 here.
So it's the opposite.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah.
So if it's a positive there, it's gonna be a negative, and if it's a negative,
It'll be a
They
positive.
said
Yeah,
that
you
yes.
can say it that way, yeah. And equals √5 squared, right, which is what? 5, yeah. Okay.
Also, bells were just
Yeah.
they said that a minute ago, but I guess they don't know. Which number was it? 27?
All right, 9. Find the center and radius. Okay, so it's going to be x minus 2. So we're doing the same thing we just did, but backwards. Okay, so my center. Okay, so let's recall equation of a circle is x minus x and c squared plus y minus y and c squared equals r squared. Okay. So what's the x coordinate in my center here? Someone say 2. It'd be 2. Yep, 2 and -3. Yeah. Right. Because I have x minus, then x at c is right here, and then y. This is technically y minus -3, so I gotta flip the sign. And the radius is what? 4, yep. Is that confusing anyone? B x plus 5 squared plus y squared equals 7. Okay. What's my center going to be?
-5, 0.
-5, 0. Okay. Because x plus 5 is the same as x minus -5. And then there's technically is -0 squared here, technically, right? It's 0. Then radius is what? this is the radius squared right here. So the square root of this is going to be the radius. Square root of 7. Okay. Is that confusing you, Ben?
You're good, man. I'm good.
Alright, and then part C, x squared plus y squared equals 10. Okay, so what's my center?
0, 0.
Alright, Ben, let's turn around with this. I don't think we get natural 10. Yeah, we get out of 10, so ignore that. Alright, so
It was just 7, so just
this is the same. This is the same as writing x minus 0 squared
Is it the fly leaving the line out here?
plus y minus 0 squared.
Jade, you're literally blind.
So what's my center? 0, 0. What's my radius?
Square root of 10.
Radius is square root of 10.
I don't know. I just have this one.
Okay. Okay, so we want to write part 10, heading 10, write using absolute value. The distance between x and 3 is 8. Anyone have any ideas? Reese, any ideas? Trying to think of the best way to explain this.
8 minus 3. I don't remember opposite value.
Yeah, so distance is going to be subtraction. So it's going to be something like x minus 3 equals 8, but I need something on the left side. Yeah, the absolute value bars. Absolute value bars for distance, right?
So that's just your answer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example for this. So if I had a number line, and I had, if x were equal to 5, I'd have, okay, what's the difference between 5 and 3? You know it's 2, right?
I hope not.
You know it's 2, right? And that would work if you just plug in 5, you don't need absolute value bars, and you just get, well, for this you just say it's 2, right? But if you said, right, it would be 5 minus 3, right? You distance of 2, right? Okay, if you were to do 3 minus 5, that'd give you negative 2, right? The distance between two things can't be negative, right? Doesn't make any sense, negative distance. So putting the absolute value bars, make sure we always get an answer that makes sense. Distance is, we got 4 minutes. Distance is absolute value. Okay? All right, part B. Distance between x and negative 2 is more than 7. Okay, so what do I write?
X plus 2 is
Yep.
greater than 7.
So Allie's onto something. X minus negative 2 is greater than 7. But I need absolute value bars here.
Yeah.
I need absolute value bars since I have a distance. It's got to always be positive. Okay. And then distance between x, 4 and x is 12. Okay. It is Jack. It's Jack, right? It is. Distance between 4 and x is 12. So how do I write that with absolute value? Bars, okay. Nice. Equals, part C, it says 12. Nice, all right, round of applause. Round of applause for Jeff. There we go, nice. All right, and then D. The distance between x and 5 is no more than 3. So it's no more than 3, that's 3 or less, right? 3 or less, yep.
X minus 5,
Nice, good job. All right. Let's try to get through 11 real quick.
there you go.
Okay, write the equation of the circle whose diameter has the following endpoints. Okay, so let's find the midpoint. Let's find, you take these two endpoints, you find the distance and the midpoint, okay? So I have 2 points, 3, -6, right, and 4, 0. I need to find the midpoint between these two to find the center. So these are 2 points on the circle. If I find their midpoint, I'll find the center of the circle. If I find their distance, I'll find the diameter itself, which gives me the radius, right? Does that make sense? So if I do the midpoint, I get
Yeah, you get the midpoint, you get the radius.
3 plus 7, 3 plus 4 over 2, and -6 plus 0 over 2. It gives me 7/2 and -3. Distance is going to be 4 minus 3 squared plus 0 minus negative, so 0 plus 6 squared. Square root of 1 plus 36 squared, or sorry, 6 squared, 36, square root of 37. So the radius is 37 over 2, and the center is 7/2, -3. And I would use that, okay? So no homework tonight, so we need to get through all the notes. Okay? Yeah, you guys take care. And we'll go over this part A.
You didn't like